In a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and a meandering river, there lived a man named Arjun. He was known throughout the village for his quick temper and inability to control his emotions. His outbursts had cost him friendships, strained his relationship with his family, and made him a source of unease among the villagers. Despite his many attempts to change, Arjun found himself caught in a relentless cycle of anger and regret. One day, Arjun heard about a wise monk named Bodhi who lived in a serene monastery on the highest peak of the nearby mountains. This monk was said to possess profound knowledge and a deep understanding of the human spirit. Desperate for change, Arjun decided to seek the monk's guidance. The journey to the monastery was arduous. Arjun traversed rocky paths, crossed swift streams, and climbed steep slopes. By the time he reached the monastery, he was exhausted but determined. He was greeted by a young monk who led him to Bodhi's simple yet peaceful abode. Bodhi was seated on a woven mat, his eyes closed in meditation. He looked serene, his presence exuding an aura of calm that immediately put Arjun at ease. After a few moments, Bodhi opened his eyes and smiled warmly at his visitor. "Welcome, Arjun," he said in a gentle voice. "What brings you to this sacred place?" Arjun, feeling a mixture of reverence and desperation, explained his struggles with controlling his anger and emotions. He spoke of the harm he had caused and his deep yearning for peace. Bodhi listened patiently, nodding occasionally. When Arjun finished, the monk remained silent for a while, as if pondering the weight of Arjun's words. "Arjun," Bodhi began, "anger is like a fire. When it is small, it can be contained and managed. But if left unchecked, it grows and consumes everything in its path. The first step to controlling your anger is to understand its nature and your relationship with it." The monk stood up and motioned for Arjun to follow him. They walked through the monastery's tranquil gardens, where vibrant flowers bloomed and birds sang melodiously. Bodhi stopped by a small pond and pointed to its clear waters. "Look into the pond, Arjun. What do you see?" Arjun gazed into the water and saw his reflection. "I see myself," he replied. Bodhi nodded. "This pond is calm and still, allowing you to see your reflection clearly. But what happens when the water is disturbed?" He picked up a small pebble and tossed it into the pond. Ripples spread across the surface, distorting the reflection. "When your mind is calm, you see things clearly," Bodhi explained. "But when it is disturbed by anger or other emotions, your perception becomes distorted. The key is to cultivate a mind as calm and clear as this pond." Arjun listened intently, feeling a glimmer of hope. "But how do I achieve that calmness, Master Bodhi?" The monk smiled and led Arjun to a shaded bench under a large ancient tree. "It requires practice and patience, Arjun. Let me share with you a story that may help illuminate the path." Bodhi began his tale. There was once a great warrior who sought wisdom from a renowned sage. The warrior was strong and skilled in battle, but he was also quick-tempered and often acted out of anger. He approached the sage and asked for guidance on controlling his emotions. The sage handed the warrior a cup of water and instructed him to carry it without spilling a drop, while walking through a narrow, winding path filled with obstacles. The warrior, puzzled but respectful, accepted the challenge. As the warrior walked, he focused intently on the cup, careful not to let any water spill. He navigated the obstacles with great care and concentration. When he finally returned to the sage, the cup still full, the sage asked him what he had learned. The warrior replied, "I learned to focus my mind and be mindful of each step I take." The sage nodded. "Exactly. Just as you focused on the cup, you must focus your mind on the present moment. When you are mindful, you can navigate life's obstacles without being overwhelmed by your emotions." Bodhi paused, allowing the story to sink in. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and aware of each moment, without judgment. When you are mindful, you can observe your emotions without being swept away by them. Arjun nodded slowly, beginning to grasp the concept. But what about when anger rises suddenly, like a storm? How can I prevent it from taking over? Bodhi's eyes twinkled with wisdom. When you feel anger rising, acknowledge it. Do not suppress it, but do not feed it either. Instead, take a deep breath and observe the emotion. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What triggered this anger? Often, by simply observing and questioning your emotions, you can diffuse their intensity. The monk stood up and demonstrated a simple breathing exercise. Close your eyes, Arjun. Take a deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and then exhale slowly. Repeat this several times, focusing only on your breath. This will help calm your mind and give you the space to respond rather than react. Arjun followed Bodhi's instructions, feeling the tension in his body begin to ease. He opened his eyes, feeling a sense of clarity he hadn't experienced in a long time. Master Bodhi, I understand the importance of mindfulness and breathing. But how do I apply this in my daily life, especially when I'm surrounded by triggers? Bodhi smiled warmly. Practice, my dear Arjun. Integrate mindfulness into your daily routines. Begin each day with a few moments of meditation. Throughout the day, take brief pauses to check in with yourself. Notice your thoughts, feelings, and sensations. Over time, you will build a habit of awareness that will help you remain calm even in challenging situations. The monk placed a reassuring hand on Arjun's shoulder. Remember, this is a journey, not a destination. Be patient with yourself and celebrate small victories along the way. And whenever you feel lost, return to your breath, for it is the anchor that will guide you back to peace. Arjun felt a deep sense of gratitude and bowed to the wise monk. Thank you, Master Bodhi. I will do my best to follow your teachings. As Arjun made his way back to the village, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. He began incorporating mindfulness into his daily life, meditating each morning and pausing to breathe whenever he felt his emotions rising. Gradually, he noticed a change. His outbursts became less frequent, and he found himself responding to situations with greater calm and clarity. The villagers, too, noticed the transformation in Arjun. He became a source of inspiration, demonstrating that with patience and practice, one could overcome even the most challenging of personal struggles. Years later, when people asked Arjun how he managed to change, he would smile and recount his journey to the monastery and the wisdom imparted by Master Bodhi. He would remind them of the pond's still waters, the warrior's focused steps, and the power of mindfulness and breath. And so the teachings of the wise monk spread throughout the village, helping many others find their path to peace and understanding, just as Arjun had found his.